Hey, welcome to the Break Room Arcade podcast. We don't really have a name for it yet, but tentatively, I'm calling this By the Water Cooler.
By the water cooler.
I like that name.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've discussed that before. Kind of cool.
Welcome to By the Water Cooler. You can't see my air quotes. Today, we're going to be talking about NX rumors. I've got Logan Welliver with me.
Hello.
And I've also got Break Room Arcade veteran, Jacob Robertson.
Hello.
So let's just kind of get right into it, guys. There have been a lot of NX rumors over the last few months.
Oh, we're talking about the NX?
We're talking about the NX.
The
Okay.
NX.
So let's just kind of start probably with the recent stuff. Recently, we heard that...
Wait, okay. Explain to me, what is the NX?
The NX is the code name for Nintendo's new console. We don't know whether that means home console or if it means handheld. The basic generalization.
No, they said it was a home console.
They did say
Reggie said it was a home
Reggie
console.
but he's top tier.
He is. But
I mean, the man's a meme. How can you not trust the guy?
the thing is, the basic idea is that the NX is a hybrid system, console, and handheld. Obviously, there's nothing really to base that on other than some statements that Iwata made a long time ago when he was still alive.
Okay.
So the recent rumors that we've heard so far are that it's a screen controller just like the Wii U gamepad with detachable controllers, a 6.7-inch capacitive touchscreen, so that's multi-touch, not the resistive touchscreens that we've had all of these years like with the Nintendo DS line. And those detachable controllers are also said to have motion a la the Wii with force feedback similar to the Vive controllers.
Okay.
I still don't understand force feedback yet.
So force feedback.
Yeah, that one I don't know either.
So like if you're playing a Vive game and you clash swords with someone, that feedback is going to be placed throughout the controller in different areas of the controller to imitate what that would feel like. That's as accurately as I could describe it to you.
Okay.
So like, if I'm a lightsaber and I hit lightsabers, I'm gonna feel like I'm hitting something.
Yeah, you might have
That's
a
it,
low
yeah.
rumble,
Okay.
and then obviously those strikes will come in a little deeper.
Or Jacob, if I took your hand and kind of like caressed it,
Yeah, probably something. Yeah.
just very
I mean,
sensually.
like normally, you know, like that.
We all know those kinds of games will come down the line.
Really.
VR porn's gonna be an interesting thing in the future.
They have you seen that? Have you seen VR porn? They actually have it. It's
No,
ridiculous.
I know they have it. I know, but I'm like, it's kind of just in the infancy. But we're not here to talk about porn.
No, we're not here. But
No.
I've seen a video that was
No,
hilarious.
they've demoed it to people. So, I kind of want to start off with that with you guys because that's a lot more telling of what the console itself will be than anything we've heard up to now.
Okay.
Obviously, let's kind of start with the whole screen and the controller thing because obviously that did not work out too well for Wii U. What do you think about that? Is that okay with you?
Well, I mean, in that way, it sounds like, oh, that's the only reason that the Wii U failed. But that's
True.
obviously not true.
No, marketing.
I think the fact that the Wii U didn't have a really fantastic... I mean, it had the Wii U Pro, which was really good, but it's still... That even felt kind of like a second thought.
Yeah.
I feel like in addition to something like this, they would need at least like a normal controller that they'd be able to push in people's face that would be comparable to the Xbox One controller or the PS4 controller.
Let me freeze you there. So you want a traditional controller. Another rumor in relation to the detachable controllers is that those two controllers will come off the system and then be able to be put together to form a standard controller.
Okay.
Okay, that would be pretty awesome.
So, in essence, that's not a second thought. That's primarily what the console is. That is
Okay.
a feature of it.
Right. Okay, so what happens with... obviously, Nintendo is known for local multiplayer. Are they just going to have more detachable controllers? Because, I mean, you wouldn't need more than one detachable controller.
Okay. So you would need that second thought, air quotes.
Right, so would they just sell more detachable controllers that would detach for no reason because you don't actually have an extra, like, screen?
I think the idea is that since this is supposed to be a hybrid, handheld and console, the idea is that people would be buying the console and therefore have their own controllers available. That's what I think.
Yeah, so let
Right,
me just...
but what happens when you just have one to a household and you have a bunch of kids and
Right. I recognize that as an issue.
Right.
Another part of this whole thing, like I said, this is the handheld portion.
Right.
But there's also rumors of a docking station that the NX screen portion plugs in,
Right.
and then plugs into the television.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
Right.
so let me just jump in and just let everyone just to say I'm pretty raw at this. This is some of the first I know about it, but I don't know a lot about it. So from hearing what I do know, and then you talking about it now, the Wii U obviously basically flopped. Right? It doesn't have a huge following. It didn't do as good as you wanted. But I think the idea of the screen handheld is very viable. Like there's a lot of cool things you could do with that. Especially if it is a mobile, like it goes with you and you can bring it home. There's a lot of cool things I think you could do with that.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with Logan. There's a lot of questions about the multiplayer and that because that's part of the reason that I think the Wii U kind of flopped.
That's all I am.
You had those issues. Yeah, he's just a bunch of questions, which is fine. It's understandable. But I think they have a good base, and if they can improve on that and make it a fun experience, there's a lot of cool things they could do with that. That could make it better. So if it was a docking station that you could pull up for certain games that could do cool things or take it with you on the go, that would be awesome in my mind. And then if you had separate controllers or something, again, I think it's viable. Like I imagine those two, the detachable rumor, you dock it and those are your controllers. So when you're at home, that's what you play with. And then that thing is basically the screen that you go with. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a TV going with you. And then these are you play with. So basically those are your controllers, but you can use that to take it with. Now that would be cool to me, but other stuff would also be cool. So
I think, and this is, obviously this is just total speculation on my part, but I think that the docking station may have its own ports for a secondary type of controller, or maybe even a controller that we already have access to. Nintendo's pretty good about, backwards compatibility with their controllers. Like Wii U could use every single input that the Wii could, except for the GameCube controller. Obviously, that's available for Smash, but that's the only game it works with.
Why they wouldn't make it compatible with other games? Who knows?
The Virtual Console line,
Yeah.
namely, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So obviously that is a concern. We don't know anything yet, but another thing in my mind is that so Wii U asymmetrical gameplay was something that they were very passionate about, very vocal about, that obviously didn't really pan out. Have either of you played Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures on GameCube?
No,
No.
actually.
That's an
maybe I have. I don't remember.
I've seen it played. I know what it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So that's, for those of you who don't know, that's an asymmetrical experience where the game is a disc on a GameCube, and then on the main screen you see the overworld, all the enemies, whatnot, but every person playing has their own Game Boy Advance with their own screen.
I did play that when I was younger. I remember that.
So if you were to go into a building, you would appear on your Game Boy Advance screen independent of the television so that everyone else can still do their own thing. I think that if the NX is this hybrid, handheld platform, that they're going to kind of reinvent that concept of asymmetrical gameplay, but where everyone has their own independent screen.
Right. So what you're saying is they're doing the Wii U thing that they were talking about, like, oh yeah, no, we could totally do multiple game pads, and then they were like,
Exactly.
meh, and then they never did it. Like
Yeah.
they mentioned it a few times, and it was like, cool, you could use more than one gamepad, and then it just never came up again.
The thing that makes this work is, they're not all streaming to one device. They're all independent hardware that are powering themselves. Another patent... Oh, go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, that would be awesome if they could do that. That's actually, they did that with, I think, Smash Bros. For the Wii U, where you could use your Game Boy if you had the game, and then you could...
Oh, yeah.
Like the 3DS.
3DS, that was it. And then you could do that same thing. Well, that'd be cool if you could do that where it wasn't like... Because this is a weird thing to me, but I always thought it was weird that all game systems are held to 4 people. So if you could extend that by having a mobile thing... That
was my next point.
You could have a party and everyone could play instead of having to switch off, which always drove me insane because having to watch, and then you get one turn and then you're sitting watching again. Right. I always hated that. So
I don't think NX is going to be a 4-player platform. I think NX is going to be at least an 8-player platform. in cases where everyone has their own NX.
Right.
Which honestly is perfect for, I feel like, because if you look at their competitors, Nintendo and Xbox, they focus more on the individual gameplay, and you're playing a lot of your individual games.
Yeah.
So if they push theirs more family-oriented or group-oriented fun, I think that's a good idea. And then bring in more players.
Right.
What do you say?
I don't know. I had a thought, and this
It's
kind of
dangerous.
goes in with like the whole like, okay, so Nintendo, I guess Nintendo's goal really is always, I want to say to innovate. Mostly they want to do something different. They always want to kind of push the envelope in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, they have a lot of missteps. For example, the Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
It's like, but virtuality was way, before its time, and now it's kind of coming into its own, and we still have a ton of problems with it, so it's like, of course that didn't work out. But Nintendo, I love one of the things, one of their focuses, like if it's not doing something novel with the gameplay or say socially. And I've heard these words out of I think it was like Miyamoto's mouth one time. And that's obviously they had like Miiverse, which I think is kind of just like just a small portion of what that could mean. Mm-hmm. Miiverse is very, very bare bones. They could build off of it and other stuff like that. But all I see right now is, say, the NX, you have this independent tablet with capacitive multi-touch touchscreen. I mean, essentially that makes it a tablet, Mm-hmm. And so Nintendo isn't just releasing a home console, they're releasing a tablet that you could possibly, again, take with you and do stuff with. It'll probably have a web browser on it and all these other things. So you're not just going to be buying a, with the say, they tried to cash in with the tablet stuff with the Wii U gamepad, but it was tied to the console. It was useless without the console. In this case, you can use it without the console because it is the console essentially, or half of the console. Given, I'm guessing the docking station would probably have some processing power or something like that.
Yes. I am a firm believer that the docking station has its own independent processing power, or maybe even a supplementary graphics card. Because of that other patent that Nintendo released for supplementary hardware, I think that's what this idea is. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Right.
So
all I can see is like in this case, obviously, you would essentially have no limitations in terms of how many people could be playing. I mean, obviously, you have people who play all these social games on their phones, and usually the interactions are limited to like, hey, I beat your high score, but like, and games do that anyway. But in this case, like having like, what do you call it? Like D&D, a virtual D&D, or just general just tabletop gaming on your laptop and just getting everybody in the same room, except it all being virtual. So, I mean, they're already doing that. There's already applications for your phones and stuff like that. And so, like, Nintendo could cash in on those experiences because everybody all of a sudden has an NX and they're connected to the Nintendo network, and they have improved upon Miiverse to actually have meaningful interactions between people and saying, like, yo, guys, I want to play a game, or hey, guys, let's get on this party chat or whatever. And obviously, you don't need those tablets to have that, but once you have a dedicated device for something that you can carry around with you, like, it makes that much more accessible. It's just like when you meet up with your friends with your 3DSs.
Yeah.
You don't meet up with your friends for your Wii U, but you take your 3DSs and do things with it. So you can say, hey, guys, want to get together and play? Yeah, cool. I'm just going to bring my NX with.
Yeah.
And it's not... And the mobile part of it isn't so much like, hey, I'm going to walk around and go to the park and play it. It's I can go over to my friends with it and not have to package up a console. I just have a charger and I have my tablet and maybe those two extra things. And so it's just a lot more mobile.
Yeah, I was gonna say the idea really makes sense. That's what I was thinking. Is that I think this is what they're trying to jump on is like the social media and the social like interaction. If you look at Pokemon Go, where they got everyone out to go and they had all these games. If they had a tablet that you could do internet with it, whatever you want out there doing your normal social stuff, plus bring in the idea of being able to play video games with your friends and stuff. And basically, it would just take over like a phone or something. Because I heard rumors that you could also make like phone calls, like web calls off of it. I don't know if that's true, but I heard a rumor that way.
I mean,
I didn't hear that.
So like
they had an application on the.
So I'm saying if it basically is, if it's basically just like a mobile thing that you can do everything you could normally, they're just taking advantage of everyone's want to play mobile games, and then if everyone has one, you could have more interaction with your friends. So I think their goal is if this is what I've been hearing or thinking, I think the best idea for them is to push the social idea and bring more people together to play this game. Because then if everyone walking around with this thing in their pocket, then everyone's going to play it. And then someone's going to be like, well, everyone's playing this. Why don't I get it?
Right. The whole pocket thing, though.
I'm not saying pocket, but I'm saying like if it's something that you could bring with you to do your normal stuff. But people bring tablets all the time.
Right.
They're big.
Right.
So if it's something like that where they could do their normal stuff on it, and then also be like, hey, look, I'm playing a game, and this guy's playing the same game.
Yeah, and not to mention,
this.
it has a pretty. If the rumors are true, it'll have a pretty sophisticated chip.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't going to be your run-of-the-mill tablet. This will be a relatively powerful thing that, people will actually be able to do things on.
Like, it's not like I can only play, like, Doodle Jump or Fruit Ninja. I can probably play, like, Mario on the run.
You can play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Legend of Zelda in the open.
Yeah, and I lost what I was going to say. Anyway.
Really quick, just listening to Jacob gives me this idea that Nintendo is trying to tap into a market that doesn't exist yet. So this is a blue ocean product. You have people who are already accustomed to their smartphones and their tablets and that way of life. Then you have the separate audience, the hardcore gamers, air quotes again, who are playing video games on dedicated platforms and, are really reliant on that power. What I think is happening is that Nintendo is going to use this social element, this tablet smartphone culture, and then they're going to unify it with the main gaming culture to bring about a new culture that uses both of these devices and bring gaming back into the mainstream.
Right. And so essentially, obviously, if it works, it's a good business decision because imagine the whole of the market. And would you be able to? Here's the other question: would they sell the controller, the tablet, separately from the docking station?
I think it would come with, and then I'm guessing you could buy more maybe if you wanted it.
There has to be a package that has both devices in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I would
course.
imagine. But
I think as a business decision, releasing them separately is smart. However, if they do that and then you have those casual people from the social side that only buy the tablet, that would kind of, fight that initiative to unify the two audiences.
Right.
I would imagine you'd have to buy both and then maybe like sync the games or whatever, or do whatever you guys do.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm like, they could separate them, but at the same time, like,
I would imagine you would bring them together because if it's a full game like a Legend of Zelda, that's a powerful game, downloading it straight from the air without any kind of help on a tablet that probably has a lot of power, but probably isn't the same as like a
full console.
A full console
Right.
would be hard. So maybe you'd have to have it and then put it on your tablet.
Well,
it'd be easier.
The chip that's in it is the Tegra 2, which is it's the same. Well, not the same model, but it's the same brand that's in the NVIDIA Shield. And have you guys heard of that platform?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
It's a little powerful little mobile device.
Yeah. So there was a rumor that the NVIDIA Shield 2 was canceled because of the NX and because it's using the Tegra 2 chip. So I think that leads further credence.
So, like,
to
NVIDIA is, like, cashing in on the NX is what you're saying, essentially?
I think they believe in the project.
Oh. Yeah, because, like, I don't think they probably had a small market for the NVIDIA Shield, but it wasn't.
There was lukewarm reception to its reveal, and it didn't really perform that well. Not perform in like power, but
if they think that they're getting onto a project that'll bring them more, why
Well,
wouldn't
if
you
it's
do
their
that?
ship, they're going to be making a ton of
Yeah,
money.
I'm saying that would be helpful.
potentially.
And with this being a potential blue ocean market, that could lead them right to the
Yeah.
head of the industry. Not that
Right.
they're already
No,
there.
I mean
but-
these are all rumors, but if this is the case, I think this is the best way for Nintendo to go social and try bringing in other people because
That's putting it
I mean,
lightly.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't want to crush them, but like Pokemon Go, look how good that worked. And then here's the thing:
I think
is
that's an experiment for this
and
whole idea.
That's what I was saying. That's what kind of got my eye. But if you think about it, Nintendo's basically had the corner for all mobile gaming forever. I mean,
Yeah,
Nintendo, PlayStation.
up until
PlayStation tried doing something, but it was never close to Nintendo.
Right.
So they already have that corner, and so if they can just add that bring more into that, add it to their thing, their normal console, it's just better for them all around.
Yeah.
So
No,
was
my
it.
thought just left me. Hold on.
that's all right.
The Pokemon Go thing. I don't think it's out of the question that Nintendo would make their mobile games, for smartphones and tablets compatible with the NX, given the idea of the NX that we have in our minds right now. And, if Pokemon Go is compatible with NX, you're already tapping into an incredibly successful market.
And even with
Right.
that, I mean, you hear rumors of other companies trying to do that Go type thing, and if they have a tablet that can do that, then companies can just make games and send it to them, and that's just more money
Yeah, there's
for
already
them.
there's already clones on the market. I don't think I've
Yeah.
seen them, but I saw a GIF. It was a clone of Pokemon Go, and it was literally some of the same textures from
just-
Pokemon Go that they were using, and they even called the things. It was monsters, which
Yeah,
I mean,
I've
Pokemon
seen-
it's
I've seen that, yeah.
pocket monsters, and so I don't know. It's just it's silly because honestly, the only reason people are playing Pokemon Go is because it's Pokemon.
Yeah,
and it's a relatively
exactly.
novel idea, but it's been done before. I mean, the same company made Ingress, which is the same idea. You would go out to physical locations with your mobile devices, and you'd interact with locations and landmarks in certain ways.
Go on.
There's a fantastic idea for that waiting. 3DS had a very unique feature called Street Pass. When you would pass another Nintendo 3DS, in its clamshell state, closed, the two devices would interact and send information to each other to be used in, all your little games.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Nintendo Zones?
Yeah.
What if they take this kind of Pokemon Go idea and make that a base feature of the unit? So you take your NX and you go to what would have been a Pokestop, but instead of getting stuff for Pokemon Go, you're getting play coins for your Nintendo NX.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that could obviously work in just a myriad of ways. It doesn't have to be play coins. It could be items
Right.
for certain games that you're playing or whatever.
People love I got a new skin for my thing. So if you go and you get enough money to buy a Mario skin for something or whatever, something to add to your game, people love that. It's
They
a
have
novel idea.
all those Pokemon promotions. If you go to Best Buy or if you go to GameStop on a certain day for 5 hours, you'll get a level 100 Mew or something like that.
Right.
There's opportunities for that across the entire library of games.
Right.
I think if they're going with this whole social idea, that would be a breakthrough feature.
Okay.
That's just me wishing,
Yeah.
Right.
No.
but I think that'd do a lot to benefit the console.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you give it more uses, and all of a sudden, you've added value into it. So, that $450 that you might have to cash out for a console and your first game, all of a sudden doesn't seem that big because you are automatically getting more out of it. When you were buying the Wii U, there was so many people who were like, why would I spend $300 on this console when I could spend $400 on this console and get so much more out of it? That being said, at least $100 more worth of value. It's not the price, it's what you're getting with the money you're spending. So that's why you build a PC. You know, you spend over $1,000 on a good PC, and that's a lot more expensive than a console. But people do it because, like, okay, you get on Steam and they have all these sales, and I already have like over 100 games in my library, and half those I pay literal cents for. You know, so the value of it, it's like. And on top of that, like, obviously you get all these other programs and you can emulate games and you can attach whatever controller you want to it. And so, like, that's what people are looking for. They're looking for a good value that also happens to be, it's like, okay, I can save that much money, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta give them something someone wants. I mean, and that's why with the rumors with the video games and stuff, they need to have something good come out with it. It can't just be a good console and not have good games or anything with it.
And that seems to be something that Nintendo is like really pushing, that the launch window for NX, or just the launch in general, is going to be a lot better than what we had with Wii U and even 3DS.
It has to be.
It has to be. I mean, I would not be surprised if they just took all their development teams, the ones that develop almost exclusively for like the mobile platforms and for the console platforms. So guys, we all need to cash in on this because it's all going to be there anyway. And so if you don't do this, well, obviously they have the say, so it's not like they have an ultimatum or anything like that. You're fired if you don't do this. But it's like they could literally just put all their resources towards this. I mean, honestly, if you have a 3DS, there's a ton of games to play anyway, and there's always new ones coming out. But like, once you have an NX, does that replace your Wii U or 3DS? I'm not sure yet, but if it does, then I don't think anybody's going to miss it, and then they can put all the resources in one basket.
I have a theory.
Before you jump in your theory,
go ahead.
You can do it.
Go ahead.
The idea with the games and all that. This is where I know, because Nintendo's always been a novel concept toward the other systems. This is where I'd say the other systems beat them at their launches because they have so many developers for all their different games. That like I'm always been a console guy, and when the Xbox One launched, there were games that I was like, oh my god, that looks awesome. I want to get that. Even though I played the game like Rome, it was okay. But when they launched it, they promoted it. It looked awesome, and they have all these different developers to hit everybody else's like this guy likes RPGs and this guy likes action shooters. They have all those niches and they can bring them there. Whereas Nintendo, I feel like a lot of their developers are in-house, like Mario, Zelda, and all that. They don't really extend to these other ranges, which not that it's bad. There are really good games that come out of it, but because it is such a niche, like only this area, I feel like that's where they lose at their launch because they can't bring people in with like, hey, here's this exclusive game that you're only going to get here. That is different than normal Mario and Zelda. Not that Mario and Zelda aren't good; they're awesome. Right. But you're bringing in the same people you've had for years. You're not bringing in these people who haven't played Nintendo. Right.
And that's just one thing. That's the thing with the other consoles is like a lot of the times they also have just a ton of third-party support. And historically, I mean, even from the start, I mean, the NES and the Super Nintendo had plenty of third-party support.
It's the N64 where things got rocky.
The N64, yeah.
And that's because there was the whole cartridge versus disc-based games, and that had to deal with like costs and ease of development and all this other stuff. And Nintendo's never been able to kind of like recapture the third-party developers and get all those big games. Like we got Call of Duty and a few Call of Duty games, but they were all like dumbed down, and the vast majority of the sales were on the Xbox or the PS3.
Even if you got those games from when I had the Wii, I've had every system. But even if you got those games, like I was a big sports guy. I played Madden. Madden for the Wii was awful. If you went to your friend's house and had Madden for the Wii, I was like, "What are you playing? This is like a phone game." Compared to Madden on a console, I was playing football. It's different.
Even there, that's left an impression on a lot of people because Wii U had actual ports of third-party games. It had an actual version of Black Ops 2.
Right. And it probably did. I think at the Wii is where it got left behind. That's why the Wii U had such a bad launch. It's like the Wii U struggled with games and people left it.
Right.
They were there, but people had already been burned.
Yeah. So I think that they just need to bring that back in. And the social way, maybe if they do the social like we were talking about, maybe that brings back some other players that they didn't have. They lost.
That's bringing back the casual market that they lost from the Wii. So
that's what I'm saying. They lost it a generation ago.
Yeah, everybody bought the Wii, but then nobody
played it.
Nobody played
It was such a cool idea to be able to play movements, but at that time, it hadn't developed fully. So even the games were kind of disappointing. There were some super cool ones, but like I used to love the sports ones, but you could, like, if you got the like special sports ones, they didn't work well. Like, and then Xbox came with like the Kinect, which could do the same thing as the Wii. You know,
Kinect was a little shoddier, I think.
It was, but
definitely.
people got their games that they wanted that the Wii didn't give them.
Right.
And then with the Wii U, did give them that, but they were already here.
We're at a point, I think, where motion controls sits comfortably where it belongs.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at Breath of the Wild, and the only motion controls in that game are just for your aiming, for your arrows, and items like that.
But it makes sense in that.
Exactly.
It's like a desirable feature.
It's something that benefits you as a player rather than being a novel idea.
Yeah, and they even have like a little like in one of the later like PS3 controllers, they had a gyroscope and accelerometer in there.
Yep.
You know, so you could tilt it, and it was used in small ways. Like, it was used in Journey, but you didn't have to use it in Journey. I didn't use it in Journey.
My favorite use that I've gotten out of it, it was very, very minute. In The Last of Us, when your light starts going out and you need to joggle the controller.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. And I think that's what happens is ideas come in like the motion control, and it seems so cool, and then they build a whole console around it, and you realize that is cool, but it only needs to be used in certain situations, not building a whole thing or based around this idea. Like, I still play games that, if you had, like, in the middle of the game, like the 3DS, I love that you could, like, in my Zelda game, I could go to 3D, and then I could see where I'm going, but I don't have to be in 3D the whole time.
That even has motion controls in
And
it.
it has motion controls. Yeah, those kind of stuff. That's really cool. Until we get to a point where like motion controls is like perfect. Like every time I move and it goes perfectly with me. Then sure, make some games based on that. But
That's what the VR market's
that's
doing.
what VR is doing. Yeah.
To kind of get back on track with NX.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, good conversation. So we've been sitting on rumors for well over a year now, hasn't it been? It's been a long time.
Yeah,
Project Cafe was nothing like
And
this.
it's not a comfy chair to sit on.
No,
I was-
especially when it's supposed to launch in March.
That's the rumor. And this is
But
just
even that, isn't that a rumor?
March is
no. They've been
confirmed.
saying March for a while. Yeah, they confirmed
Oh.
They posted that on Twitter, son.
that. Yeah, posted in March. I think that's what the rumor of isn't that why the rumor that the Zelda got pushed back was to come out with an X or something.
The
There's-
listing for it said March, and then when people realized that it said March, they pulled it down because they don't want to make that promise, and that's understandable. Zelda's a big game.
Right. I mean, yeah, they don't. Yeah, I mean,
They've already had to break the promise twice, and even Aonuma had to go out on film and then publicly apologize because he felt bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, part of that is because Aonuma screwed up.
Yeah, I mean, he made a promise he couldn't keep, and you know,
Right.
he paid for it.
Yeah.
Respectable man. It's a tough position to be
But
in.
honestly, do we expect Zelda's games to come without delays now?
Twilight Princess got
the-
delayed, what, 3 or 4 times?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
expected it. It's fine.
Delays happen. I mean, you gotta expect that.
It's
kind of feel.
disappointing, but you're gonna get it when you're gonna get it. You know, regardless.
I'd rather them delay it and give me a good product than push it out and me get
Right.
a product.
I'd rather not get a game like Battlefield 4 where it launches and then it takes months for them to actually like fix the game.
Batman
Yeah.
Arkham Knight on PC.
Yeah.
Same story.
Yeah.
So, were you say something?
I want to say something, but I didn't want to cut you off because I feel like I've been talking a lot.
No, go for it.
Let me ask you guys this, because we're talking about like basically a bunch of rumors. It's said March. It's been a year since they announced this, but they haven't told us anything. With my experience with things like this that feel so under wraps and hidden, it worries me because I've had things like this where you think it's really cool, it finally comes out, and the reason it's been under wraps is because there's been a lot of problems. Are you guys worried about all this hush hush, not telling you what exactly is coming?
No.
You're not worried at all.
Nintendo has done this always. They've always been incredibly quiet about their projects. We found out about Wii U. We were less than a year out from launch, right?
No, it was like 2 years out.
Was it?
Yeah.
When we
Yeah.
got the full unveiling of the console.
Um.
I'm not talking about the E3 reveal. I'm talking about when we found out what it was and what it did, like to a fuller extent. They had that smaller stage show.
I can't help you on this one. I'm a little behind.
Oh, I mean, when they had the final version of the product,
Yes, that's what I'm
it
talking
was
about.
like 6 months.
That's what I'm talking about.
It might have been around there, but it wasn't. It was less than a year before it launched when they finally announced like this is what it is. But I mean,
I think they're just trying to avoid the issues they had when Wii U was revealed. No one understood what it was, and then it was way out before it was going to launch.
right.
That's not an issue you really want to have. We've known about NX for a while. I think that might be part of the problem. We just didn't know what it was. They've been wanting to make this, ready to show. I think that's more than just the console. Obviously, they need to have software. When Wii U was revealed, all they had was tech demos. We had no idea what was actually coming to the system.
Right.
That was a big problem. So with NX, we already know that Breath of the Wild is coming out for the system.
Right.
And that's a big plus for me.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a minute to talk. I need to do something real quick.
All right, we just lost Logan. So back to me and Brandon.
To kind of further that, I think that NX has to have a strong launch lineup, and they're promising that. They are promising that.
I agree with that. But I understand under the wraps. But I feel like they could give us something, and that's
like
part
a
of
tease.
Yeah, just give me something, because it's all rumors. So, say you fall in love with these rumors. We just talked for a while about a social rumor.
None of this might even be true.
And if none of it's true, you might be disappointed.
Yeah.
And at the same point, the Wii U, I feel like part of its issue at launch is that it was so kind of under wraps and it didn't really get the hype it needed to get the sales it's needed. So maybe the game is great, maybe the system's awesome, but maybe because it is under wraps, like I have friends who aren't huge Nintendo guys, and he talked to me about getting a Wii U, and I said, man, NX is supposed to come out in March, and he didn't even know. So being so under wraps, maybe people unless they do a huge thing later here in a little bit, that worries me with their sales in the future, of Nintendo.
We're getting fairly close to the prospective launch in March.
That's what I'm saying. Was it 6 months out?
This is
7 months.
No, it's
September, October,
7 or
November,
6,
December.
6 or 7 months.
Yeah, about 7 months.
Yeah, we're getting too close. We don't know anything.
Nothing.
But again, another rumor is that they're going to reveal it in September.
Which, let's get on that right now.
I think that's a good time.
That's awesome if they can give us something great.
It's a good time for it because did you know, I think it's September 7th or September 9th, I can't remember which, where PlayStation is revealing their next model of the PlayStation 4.
Yes, I think I knew that. Yeah.
I think that they're going to strategically place the NX reveal somewhere close to that. Not in a way where they'll get overshadowed by it, but I think they're going.
Maybe they think there's big enough to overshadow PlayStations, and
that was the other thing I'm
hit.
thinking of. I think they're going to try and directly compete with it, which is mind-boggling.
Which if they do that, I'll be happy because giving themselves competition will help produce a better product in my mind.
While we know for a fact that they're not competing with PlayStation and Xbox, if they make the appearance that they are, that'll put them in the game.
It'll make people recognize, be like, hey, maybe they do have something I want.
Yeah, Nintendo hasn't really done any competitive marketing since the Genesis days.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and that could be part of the reason they're falling is you don't have that competition. Not per se, there is. It's all video games, so it's all the competition. But technically, they haven't said that these guys are our competition.
Right. So with the September reveal, we've been sitting on this NX for a while. I think I want it to be a stage show. In my heart, I want it to be awesome. A stage show, but I'm almost certain it's going to be like a Nintendo Direct digital only event.
Yeah.
Where they have something that's been pre-packaged so that they could edit it. It's presented exactly the way that they want it to. I think what they'll do is they're going to reveal the console and they're going to give us some kind of sizzle reel of games that'll be coming.
That's what I said. They need a good, there's rumors of Mario games and Pokemon games coming out with it. At the reveal, they should do something to show the other games coming out because Breath of the Wild will obviously bring me in, it'll bring you in, it'll bring Logan in, it'll bring a lot of followers because that game looks awesome.
Yeah.
But if they give us more, you may bring in more
people.
And so that's cool with me.
There's a lot of people that bought Wii U for the promise of Zelda Zelda U, which is now known as Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And now that game's coming out for their next platform
Next
too.
platform. And, I mean, I'm the guy, like, I would buy Wii U just for Smash Bros. If there's a good game that I want, I'm going to buy it.
Right, but there are people who got burned on that because the game that they wanted is now being released for the next platform as well.
Yeah, true.
And
Logan's
obviously
back.
that kind of sucks. Like in the case of the GameCube, Twilight Princess was released also on Wii, but it still had Wind Waker and Four Swords Adventures before it. So there was 2 Zelda games already on the platform. Wii U does not have a dedicated Zelda game. It's got remakes. Only remakes.
Only remakes, yeah.
So
Which, honestly, I mean, if Zelda is, and obviously Zelda is one of their main games.
It's their push.
For not to be on a whole generation of console is not a good
Yeah,
view
Zelda
in my
games
mind.
were always like the best games.
They're the
on
premier
console.
titles
They're
for
Nintendo's
Nintendo's.
thing.
Those
they're
are like-
Nintendo's Call of Duty. They're they're that game.
They're the one they showboat with.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they're always great. They're always pretty. And Breath of the Wild looks like it's not just a great Zelda game, and not just great games in general, but it literally looks like it's pushing the envelope in terms of game design itself, which is significant. You look at games that did that, like Half-Life 2, and people still play that and people still rave about it, and we all know the reputation of Half-Life.
Yeah.
You know, and how everybody's like, when's Half-Life 3 coming? Who knows if we'll ever get Half-Life 3? But, like, Valve just won't talk about it, and they like it that way because, you know,
Keeps people talking.
yeah, it's a meme.
Yeah.
It's a part of culture that people just won't let go.
With that, it helps them. Anytime they do any kind of reveal, people will watch. Maybe it's Half-Life 3. Even
Yeah.
if it's not, someone's watching. And they'll
Yeah.
catch their eye
Yeah.
for their new
So
games.
is this game going to be the next Ocarina of Time where people will literally talk about how great it is for decades to come? Because I mean, even after this game comes out, and even if it becomes the next Ocarina of Time, we're still going to be talking about Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, that's not
You
going to
know?
change.
That's my favorite game of
That
all
game
time.
will forever be like cemented as a fantastic, incredible achievement in game design itself. And so if they can do that again with with Breath of the Wild, obviously, like that's a good thing. That's Zelda.
Yeah, and Ocarina of Time is our generation, so it's this is our game. So if their new generation of kids sees this game and it's like, this is their Ocarina of Time, that'll help push Nintendo in the future. So you never know. I think the only issue is, like, Ocarina of Time came out at a time when video games were getting popular.
It came
And-
out during a shift in what the games
And
were.
now, at this point, to make a game that big will be so hard because there are so many developers, so many people making all these different games that can catch your eye,
And
that
really
this
good
thing
games,
needs to be just spectacular to hit that. And I'm not saying it isn't. It does look that good.
The game's already done its job. It was the #1 talked about game at E3. Nintendo's only game.
Yeah, that's
Well,
awesome.
Aside from Pokemon.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing in that regard. They were like, we could literally just show this, and we'd have enough content. And it's so funny because
We could
they
have
showed-
revealed the NX.
Yeah, well,
They
I mean,
could have
they
done
could have,
anything.
but maybe they weren't finished. You know, maybe they had like some
Right,
things
right.
to work out, to iron out. Sure, it would have been a really good time to reveal it, but
They gave us the info we wanted. Like a week or two before, they confirmed that NX was coming out in March and that Zelda was going to be on it. That's what they would have
did
told
give-
us.
yeah.
and then they also were just like, yeah, we're not showing the NX guys. They were like very clear when it comes to E3. This is exactly what we were showing, nothing more.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that Nintendo's being too careful? Like, because they've struggled for years, like you said, you want it to be a live stage event, which would be awesome, present all those things. But he's worried, you missed it, Logan, that it's just going to be a, what did you say?
Like a Nintendo Direct, a
Nintendo
prepackaged
Direct.
thing.
So they prepackage it and it presented exactly how they wanted. Do you think they're being too careful? I want this perfect.
I don't
and
know.
You think that's going to mess with it at all?
Well, I think we will not know until they reveal it. I think after they reveal it, then we can kind of say, okay, they were being too careful or they weren't.
Fair enough.
True. Yeah.
Or everyone's like, maybe there's good reason to be careful. I know they have reason to be careful. We may not know how legitimate that claim is, but they believe they have reason to be careful. I mean, it was it? I want to say it was like Miyamoto. Some of these higher ups were like, oh yeah, we don't want to reveal it because we don't want anybody stealing the idea.
He did say that. Yes, he did.
It's like we want to, if they're saying that, they obviously believe that this is a big idea. This isn't just, hey guys, we have a gamepad. Look at this. We have a screen in the controller.
This is a Nintendo revolution.
Yeah, they
really only two reasons to keep it unwrapped. Either they have this amazing idea, or they're struggling, and they're telling you they have an amazing idea.
Right.
So I'm really hoping it's
maybe they believe that in a sense this will redefine the market, and change it and form it, just like say the iPod Touch did. The iPod Touch and specifically the iPhone.
Yeah.
Remember when those came out? We didn't have multi-touch.
Smart devices.
You did not have
But once those came out and they were super successful, and everybody's like, "There's an app for that."
Yeah.
Hey guys, there's an app for that. We still say it today.
And even
I say it out of context. Like, oh, there's an app for that.
With that, that idea that if they do have something revolutionary like that, think about iPhones. They really haven't changed since the first one. They just increased a little bit.
It's stagnated.
And they still have dedicated followers who will get one every time it comes out.
Right.
So if they can do that, they can bring in new followers who are just going to follow the NX no matter where it goes.
Yeah, what if they could make it so they're a little bit more Apple-esque? Like, okay, what happens if you turn in? Obviously, Nintendo doesn't have stores, like Apple does, but if you turn in your, you could find obviously. Oh wait, no, people already trade in things, but
yeah.
But
Trading
if they've made the upgrading process easier, if they have a system in which will carry over their information and even their collection of games, how cool would that be?
I see all consoles going that way. Nintendo, Xbox is trying to make Scorpio and the Xbox One family, so everything's attached. And I think it's because people are getting tired of having to buy new stuff every time something comes out.
And then also, this is an easier way to keep an individual consumer. It's easier to keep the consumers that you already have than to make new ones. I think this is just accepted by any business. It's like you don't want to lose someone's business if it's good business, because they're going to come back. But once you lose that, it's harder to replace that with somebody else than it is to keep those dedicated consumers.
I think bad rumors spread faster than good.
Yeah, I think that's why Nintendo is kind of marketing, at least right now, they're marketing the NX as a third pillar strategy rather than a replacement for Wii U, because they don't want to scare people away.
Right.
Yeah,
they don't want.
Perfect. Yeah, that's actually good. I think that's a good marketing, because I get tired of I want to play a game I used to love. I have to pull out my 360 or pull out my old system to play it because Xbox isn't compatible anymore. PlayStation stopped its compatibility, and it just sucks because I loved games back then. It's not like I hated those. I stopped loving those games because I moved on to another system. They're still there. They're still in my heart.
Nintendo is often quoted the third pillar strategy. They did it with GameCube, Game Boy Advance, and then very new Nintendo DS. But we've learned from experience that don't really mean that. They mean it in the short term, because in the long term, NX is going to replace something. Don't know if it's Wii U or 3DS.
As a business, it has to. You can't let the people stay back there because then you're not making any money.
If this is a dedicated games console in the way that we currently think it is, for all we know, they could be tapping into that blue ocean and really trying to make something new.
Yeah, which is perfect for me. But all right.
So as far as that September reveal goes, Logan, earlier we were talking about, how it's going to be presented.
Right.
What would you want it to be? How would you want it to be done?
I think stage presentations are kind of overdone. It's really weird because we always oh yeah, bring back the stage presentations. And I think the only desirable thing from a stage presentation is the audience.
I think that's pretty important.
It is important. And so, but a lot of the times, when in these presentations, they have really stupid crap happens. There was a reel of stupid E3 presentations, and it was it included a bunch of Ubisoft stuff, like Nintendo things, specifically the the Wii music demonstration.
Oh, that was
That's
awful.
have you seen that?
I've not seen
Okay,
that.
I'll show you the
But
GIF later.
it's a
great.
live video, right? And then they're messing up. That's what you're talking about.
Right.
I think having a live audience, because when you go to those events, it's not just the event. There's stuff built around it that people want to come and see, which would bring in tons of people. And then you watch this video, right, of them playing this music that you don't like. A stage presence brings in people.
Right.
Like a recorded video, totally cool. But if it's a person telling me about something, I'm not getting their personality. I'm not getting what they. You can see how excited this person is. Like I've watched live presentations where you can tell that person's not sure if their game's good because they look iffy. But when you know that they are really proud of it, you can see it in their face and see it how they play.
Yeah.
So
I think it should be. I would like a stage presentation, but I obviously one of Sony always has really good presentations. They always show off like great games. They always have great trailers.
This year specifically was very well done.
I always love.
So I
stuff.
think they should just be very professional. Not try to do any like. I don't think they should do like live demos or anything like that.
No, save that for the stage floor.
Yeah,
Or the show floor.
That's what I'm saying. PlayStation does it really good. They do have those videos that present it the way they want it, but they give you that fun, like you're at a stage, you're watching something awesome, and I think that would bring in more people.
Getting excited with other people.
There's a reason E3 is where it is, because you're
Yeah.
not at home by yourself watching something like, oh, that was cool. You're like, dude, that was awesome. Let's go play that over there.
I know. I mean, me and Brandon have talked about when they do the reveal, and I think at this point we are anticipating that it will be September, and so logistically that'll work out in the sense of like we will be able to physically be together to watch the stream. And that's an
true.
exciting thought because we'll be turning to each other and we'll be like, holy crud, did you see that? Or holy crud, what do you think of that? Or I can't believe they're doing this. Oh my gosh, do you think this is actually going to work? You know, and just all of these different comments. And so, you know, and then even just talking about the stage presentation, the most important part about the stage presentation is the reaction of the audience.
The energy.
When you hear an audience go friggin' nuts over a trailer, it doesn't matter if you knew what that game was or not.
You got excited.
You were like, holy crud. I thought it looked cool, but then everybody else started freaking out. So I'm like, hey, I'm included in this. Hey guys, this is really cool because everybody else thinks it's really cool, and it's cool to like cool things, you know.
That kind of mob idea, mob mentality, it works. I mean, it also gives Nintendo, like, if it flops and no one cheers, you know you messed up somewhere and you know where to fix. You know, it gives you a little leeway. But I think one of the most important things about a live stage is, like I said, afterwards on the floor where you can play the game. So you get to see it and then you get to test it. It may not be the full game, but you get to test and be like, okay, this looks cool. If you're at home and you see that live thing, you're still thinking, I don't know how that's going to go.
Nintendo has a solution for that with the they've been doing for the last couple of years the Treehouse Live at E3, where they play the floor demos live for the people at home so that they can see them. So I think that format would work best for a console reveal for NX.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Obviously, other games, maybe not. You know, Nintendo Directs do fine. They do their job. Remember all those Nintendo Directs we tuned in just for Smash Brothers character reveals?
Oh, yeah.
That was the only reason we were there.
I mean...
Yeah, the rest of it was literal crap. They were like, hey guys, we got this reveal, we're going to get it out of the way. And it was like, oh my gosh, we don't know who it is. And then like there was that one time where it was like Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like Kirby. And then we didn't know it was the Smash Bros. Reveal.
Yeah.
At first, all of a sudden, Kirby's riding on a star, and so everybody's like, Kirby Air Ride, Kirby Air Ride, Kirby Air Ride. And then it came out, oh yeah, no, we're revealing Rosalina and Luma. And it kind of felt like a sucker punch, except for the fact you're like, actually, that's kind of a cool character, you know?
Oh yeah, that made me incredibly excited. I miss moments like that. That's why I want a stage show. Obviously, you might not get something that cool or that exciting for a console reveal, but if they reveal like the next Super Mario Galaxy, you'll get a reaction.
And with that, let's transition to some of the rumored games. I mean, with a console, if they did a stage thing and then they show us some awesome games there are a lot of rumored awesome games coming with it, that would just pump me even more. I would be locked in.
There's 3 games that like Wii was revealed with. It was revealed Wii Sports, but I'm not going to talk about that. So it was revealed with Super Mario Galaxy, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
Which
you can't get much better than that.
Right.
Yeah.
And we knew Super Smash Brothers was coming.
Right.
And that's the kind of thing this needs. I'm not saying that Wii U didn't have good games. I just feel like it wasn't pushed at launch as well as it should have been, and that might have helped with its presence.
So they're promising. Well, they're not promising. I don't know who said this. Can we get a confirmation of who said this? That in the first 6 months we're going to get Mario and we're going to get Pokemon. We already know we're getting
Zelda.
Yeah,
So
I remember getting.
I've heard this for a little while now. That it's like, I've heard it's rumored. I've heard that it's set that they're for sure getting these 3 main titles within the first 6 months. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I remember hearing that, but then I don't ever remember there being a name attached. These last few rumors have been especially lucrative.
Some of them have been Emily Rogers, who's pretty famous in the rumor mill.
Right. I'm not familiar with her, but like everybody's like, "Hey guys, it's Emily Rogers. It's Emily Rogers." So it's like everybody just having that name attached to it, it gives those rumors some credibility. And then just there was another one saying that another guy saying like he heard that Animal Crossing was going to be a launch title.
That's
for the NX.
Tillman from Nintendo Domination, who does a lot of like early access coverage on Nintendo games.
Right.
So I don't know if he's necessarily credible, but I've definitely heard his name before.
Well, let's go through the list of games we know are set for sure before we dive into the rumors. Brandon, do you want to name off some of the games that are set?
Some of the games that are confirmed to be coming are obviously Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's the premier title.
Right.
Just Dance.
I
Ubisoft just threw that out at E3. It was kind of weird.
I got quite a pretty penny for my Just Dance games the other day when I traded them in.
Really?
It was surprising. I mean, it was a pretty penny as in like a few dollars, but it was a lot more than I was anticipating. I'm like, how many copies of this game are out there, and they're still paying this much for to get a copy?
I'm not
game?
a Just Dance guy, but there's a following. Obviously, huge thing.
I think they've milked it too much.
Yeah, they probably.
But anyway,
kids will always play it. Kids will always play it.
So we're also getting Dragon Quest 10 and 11. Dragon Quest 10 was originally revealed to be coming to Wii U. I don't think that ever happened. Did it?
That's another one of those. I've never played Dragon Quest, so I don't really know what that is.
Yeah, I'm not.
These are MMOs.
Okay.
At least 10 is, I know.
Right.
Project Sonic, is that like a normal Sonic game, or is that?
Yeah,
just,
that's the new Sonic game that they revealed.
Forgot.
What?
About Project Sonic.
I put it in the document.
It's right here.
I see it now.
It's hit me in the
We
face. That's
literally
why.
were talking about that. I said it earlier when we were hanging out.
That's the one I'm
Project
interested in hearing
Sonic,
about.
They revealed 2 Sonic games.
At the 25th anniversary party.
Yeah, and it was. I heard the stream was awful. I didn't watch the stream.
It was.
But anyway, they revealed Sonic Mania, which is a throwback 16-bit Sonic game in the style.
Kind of sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, no, it is.
That sounds
so
awesome.
they've remade some old, they've remade Green Hill Zone and some of the older things, but then they have new zones. And this is developed by a guy who did the mobile ports of those games, and so he's really familiar with how those games play, and it looks really, really true to form. So it's pretty exciting. They did not announce that one for the NX, which I was very disappointed. Maybe it'll come later. It seems like a relatively small game that they could port pretty easily as well.
Renegade Kid even offered to port it to 3DS.
Sonic is one of my favorite games ever, and I feel like it's kind of dropped off. The newer Sonics have not been my cup of tea.
Right. So in addition to that, they revealed Project Sonic 2017, which is obviously not the final title.
Right.
But it was funny because when they revealed it, one of the first things that comes up on the screen, it goes, from the creators of Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations, which have been probably the only 2 modern Sonic games that have been well received and not been meh. Most people are no, these are good games. These are fun games. We enjoy these games.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of other ones. There's the Sonic Adventure games where, looking back on them,
They don't hold up well.
They do not
No.
hold up well. They're like super buggy, and the design's awful. And I mean, me and Paul were playing Sonic Adventure 2, and we're just like, why is this game? Why it doesn't work, and that kind of thing. But like these games, like I was watching Brandon play Sonic Generations earlier, and I was like, wow, this actually looks enjoyable. It looks fun. It flows well. It doesn't look bogus. He wasn't constantly tripping over. It wasn't broken. #SonicOS, like that kind of thing. So just like, okay, guys, these are the games that we developed. Also, we're developing a new game, which had the modern design of Sonic and the classic design of Sonic, which both appeared in Sonic Generations. But then they were like, it's not Sonic Generations 2. So we're like, what is it then? Like
It's kind of ambiguous right now.
yeah. So it's kind of weird, but it's like promising, and I don't anticipate it to be like the best game ever, but it's like it seems like, oh, we're gonna have an enjoyable Sonic, and maybe Sonic will have its footing, especially considering that even after Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations, we still have these darn missteps. We still have these games that are like, this is really not
Sonic, like I said, is one of my favorites of all time. But I feel like Nintendo didn't know what to do with him.
Sonic is Sega.
Sega. Oh yeah.
Sega just never know what to do after the first.
Yeah,
few
they
games.
don't know what to do, and
After Sonic CD.
It seems obvious when you're playing. Like this doesn't feel like what I think Sonic should feel like.
Sonic Generations and Sonic Colors are both complete ideas that are executed pretty well. The important thing here is that at the end of that trailer, in the little splash screen, where they say the release date and what platforms it's coming to, there's a little tiny itty bitty NX logo.
Yep. So it was definitely confirmed.
So that's
we have
going NX.
5
Got it.
games that are for sure confirmed for NX.
For NX.
I mean, regardless if like the Animal Crossing is rumored or not, if it does well enough, we'll eventually get an Animal Crossing on the NX.
It's not like it's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah,
but the idea, the big part of it is the rumor is that it's a launch title, which I mean, I put 160 hours into New Leaf, and like I don't know how I put 160 hours into that game, because you do a lot of the same things over and over again. And if they could kind of make it a little bit less monotonous and not just add new content, that would be pretty cool, because they did some relatively novel things with New Leaf compared to like what they had done with the last few installments, specifically City Folk, which was really dry.
It was a bigger leap.
Yeah, it was a much bigger leap. So if they can have a similar leap and do some really cool things with it, just having that, and especially in Japan, like it tends to do a lot better in Japan, just off the bat.
And it would also work really well on this very social platform.
Oh, very well.
Yeah, if it is a social platform we're talking about, that game would be perfect.
Yeah.
I mean,
Here's the other thing that would probably reinforce that rumor is the fact that they've announced 2 mobile titles that are still to come out this year. That being a Fire Emblem title and an Animal Crossing title.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that this NX game would interact with that mobile version of this Animal Crossing game. They won't be the same, obviously.
What we know is that the Animal Crossing smartphone game will interact with a mainline Animal Crossing game. We don't know what, but we're probably doing it with the NX.
probably
Right,
the
and
NX,
I mean,
yeah.
at this point, we're not getting an Animal Crossing on the Wii U. I mean, if it is on the Wii U, it's also going to be on the NX. It'll be a cross-platform.
They have the assets. I mean, we had that little Animal Crossing app on Wii U for a while, so the models are in there and they're HD. So I imagine bringing those over to NX to be fairly easy.
Yeah,
right.
should be able to do
And
that.
honestly, if you're trying to sell the game, because you're not just trying to sell the console, you want to move units, and the more units you move, the more impressive it is, and whatever. So I mean, and all those people who already own NX, our Wii U's aren't gonna, because they said they're still gonna be developing for Wii U. So I reckon that we will get some cross-platform between NX and Wii U, not just Breath of the Wild.
One game I kind of want to talk about real quick that was revealed a long time ago, said it was close to done, and then it just never came out, and that's Pikmin 4.
Okay.
Miyamoto revealed Pikmin 4 said it was almost done, and then nothing ever
Wait,
happened.
revealed as in like talked about it.
Yeah, he openly said Pikmin 4 is in development and it's almost done.
Right.
So I imagine it's probably gonna come out for the NX.
We thought it was going to come out for Wii U because NX hadn't even been there yet. We didn't know
Right.
about it. So
I feel like that from a lot of the rumors that I've heard and you've been talking about, they probably have a lot of games in development
That we don't know
and
about.
then they thought they came up with the NX idea and started
yeah.
pushing it.
Yeah.
And then I think they thought, the Wii U hasn't performed what we wanted. Why not we just push these off till we get the new system and punch a bunch of games out on there?
the Wii U's future lineup is very telling of that. The only Wii U game that I can think of that's being developed by Nintendo that's coming out this year is Paper Mario Color Splash. And that comes out in October. There's no holiday game.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Pokemon on 3DS, but that's it.
Yeah, not for Wii U.
From what I'm hearing, that's what it feels like. They're
mean,
basically
what-
just leaving the Wii U behind and moving on. Is
Yeah.
what it feels like
What
to me.
Wii U game did we have for holiday last year?
I don't recall that we did. Was it Mario Party 10?
It might-
I think it was
Mario
that
Party
and
10.
Mario Tennis Ultra Smash.
Oh my god.
Oh, good games. What a lineup. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
We were supposed to get Star Fox last
Yeah, but that
holiday,
didn't- yeah,
and then
but
it
that-
got delayed. That's what was supposed
that was
to
a big
happen.
one.
Yeah.
Mario Party games have never been good, but I didn't really enjoy any after 7.
I actually enjoyed some of the early Mario Party. I was always a Mario Party guy, and then after like 7, they kind of suck.
Mario Party 8 seems to take a dip in quality. Still a game, still a Mario Party
Still a
game.
game.
It was still
There's still
true
games.
to form, but then they really kind of because it was up until that point it was developed by what was the developer?
For which one? Mario Party 9?
No, 9 was in house.
Yes.
8 was HAL Laboratory? Or, no,
Aiding Co? Or did Aiding develop it? I don't know.
I'm gonna look this
Yeah,
up.
you look that one
But
up.
anyway, like for the first 8 games, it was developed by Hudson Soft.
Gotcha. Yeah, sorry.
So anyway, yeah, after Hudson Soft, they started doing in-house, and then they changed the whole format. So I mean, but obviously that's not important in terms of the rest of the index. Whatever,
Yeah.
it's Mario Party. We all accept that the games, they always were kind of bogus, but everyone kind of enjoyed them. Then they tried to make them more fair, and they got less fun.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's how it goes. In a lot of the other rumored games, there's rumored for a Kirby game, Kirby and the Ramble Cramble. What's he laughing at?
I'll explain this one.
Brandon's gonna explain this one. I don't know this one. That's why he's laughing at me.
So it's not Kirby and the Ramble Grandma. It's
Kribby.
Kirby.
I read that wrong. My bad.
Okay.
So we were.
Now I'm embarrassed, but I totally screwed up
Brandon,
that
whatever you do,
reading.
don't die. Okay, we were playing. So we went out and we got some Xbox, some third-party Xbox One controllers because they were wired because we wanted to play some games on his PC, on Brandon's PC.
Got it.
And so we went out and we bought these, and then they're like, "Oh yeah," because he has a membership, and so he's like, "Oh, actually, it's you get a buy 2 get 1 free coupon." So he was buying these 2 things, and so. For the same or lesser price, you could get something for free. And it just so happened that the Wii U game Kirby and the Rainbow Curse was, around that price. And so we ended up getting that. Because we were like, oh, it's another first-party game. We'll see if it's good. And we started playing it, right? And at this point, we were like, oh, gosh, this game is kind of so-so. And I started referring to Kirby as Kribby.
Ah, okay.
And kind of
I was
mispronouncing
confused
it,
what this was.
and so just kind of being, and I'd say it in a weird voice, or whatever, and we kind of just kept saying it, and it was just kind of silly, and the game was really cute, and all this other stuff, and then I don't know, Brandon, how did you come about?
I don't know. We were playing a stage in World 3, and I was very silently frustrated with the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, we both were.
And in context, this was very late at night. This is like midnight. We had like a really like, I mean, I had a long day. And so we were both we were getting there at that point.
Yeah, so I was just staring at the game, and then out of my mouth comes Cribby and the Ramble Cramble.
So this isn't a real game that you put on.
No, it's not a
you
real
put on
game.
this
It's
paper
just-
in front of me, didn't explain to me, and then made me feel like an idiot.
No,
All right, let's go.
I have a Photoshop planned for this game.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go. Well, the other games on your rumored list, that's not this. Animal Crossing, Mario, and the Pokemon within the 6 months. All would be awesome. You have here Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a rumor?
These are all rumors. These are things. I mean, with the Mario and the Animal Crossing, like we'll eventually get those. We'll eventually get like a Kirby game as well.
Yeah.
Pokemon is like if we could possibly get a spinoff. Like we got a spinoff. We got a fighting game. A Pokemon fighting,
Yeah.
a Pokken
tournament. Yeah.
And so we'll eventually get all of those. Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. That's really like.
That's a touchy rumor. I mean,
Yeah,
that would be cool because I mean those are kind of some of the big games for PlayStation, but they are
Right.
PlayStation exclusives that it wouldn't.
Well, actually, the new Final Fantasy, I believe.
No,
is
the new
going-
Final Fantasy is not exclusive for PlayStation.
Right.
But those, I mean, that's a pretty big jump for Nintendo to take in my mind.
Right.
But with that, I mean, we lost Brandon for a bit, but with these rumored games, they're all the old games. Would you like to see a new developed? Would you? Would you like? Because like with PS4, their E3, they came out with Horizon and all these new games that could be huge. I just don't see that with Nintendo. I like you were talking about with Mario. It's all kind of Mario Party. It's the same game,
Right.
kind of stale. Do you feel like they're getting like they obviously they're revamping like Zelda, and that's their main game. Maybe they just need to revamp all that and make that help. But in my mind, I think they need something else.
Yeah, Nintendo a lot of times takes this approach where they will, and I think this is due to the fact that Miyamoto has a lot of influence considering he created Mario and he created Zelda and some of these other just really well-known IPs. And so that's always the question. It's like, are we going to get a new IP? Or are we just going to get another great game idea that's going to be skinned over with a pre-existing IP, which is what Nintendo tends to do.
Look at Splatoon. I think that was an awesome game.
And
that's one of the few that they came with something new.
Right.
And I think nothing against the old games, the old IPs. Those are awesome. And I love that they were giving us new games. But I feel like that's all they've had for years.
Right.
And it would be cool to see with a new console, a new push.
When they were developing Splatoon, they considered Mario. Like, there was the chance that would have just been another Mario game. And I honestly don't think it would have been well received.
It wouldn't have done as well.
I mean, it would have been well received, but it wouldn't have done as well. So you have to weigh that kind of like, okay, if Mario is a platformer, Mario does kart racing, Mario does parties, Mario's already found his box.
And that's what I'm saying. If that did become Mario, not that wouldn't be a good game. It would be the same game, so it'd be just as good as Splatoon is. But because it was Mario, you would have a fan base out there that would just think this is another spin-off Mario that isn't bad.
It would not have the star power.
It wouldn't
that
have the same hit.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that these old IPs are a bad idea to come out with new stuff. I love what they're doing with Zelda. If they could revamp Mario and give me like an original Mario that's new or better. But I think if they came out with on the release date had something brand new that could catch someoe's eye, I think that could do some wonders with their marketing.
I feel like they tried to do that. I mean, this isn't Nintendo's game, obviously, but I feel like they tried to do that with Zombie U, with Wii U, because that was a third-party game that they really pushed.
Yeah.
It was a new idea, and brand new game from Ubisoft. So it's not that they haven't tried doing that. I think they just kind of misstepped.
Yeah, I think, and I think like that was one big try, and that's not a bad. I just think, that's another reason I'm saying that's another one of my spots where I think Nintendo is too safe. They stick with these IPs that they know will get them, and I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying I would like to see them sometimes step out on a limb more often.
I agree with you.
Take that jump
because we have this generation for Nintendo feels like the generation of spin-offs.
And
We've got
that's what I'm saying.
Yoshi Woolly World. We've got Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. We've got Paper Mario Sticker Star and Color Splash. We've got Star Fox, not Star Fox Zero, but the other one, the
Guard.
Star Fox Guard.
Mm-hmm.
We've got
Hyrule Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors. There's one coming out I can't think of right now.
And these aren't bad games. There's some good games in that list.
Federation Force.
There's some good games in that list. There are also a lot of bad games in that list. I'm just saying, maybe something new would help.
No, I totally agree with you. They're using those names just as a way to push out new ideas, and that's just the wrong way. Federation Force would not have gotten the negative reactions that it did if it didn't have Metroid on the box.
I think it's acceptable though, considering like
It's based on Metroid Prime gameplay.
Right.
That's fine. But
Right.
it is not a Metroid
But
game.
yeah, it's not always the most appropriate decision when you're marketing it. You know, it's like you have to find something that will communicate again value, like people getting what they want.
Yeah, and this isn't. I mean, I don't think they're trying to do this, but in some ways, they're dragging their good names through the mud. They're putting Mario on games that aren't Mario games.
Yeah,
they're putting these names on games that aren't these. Not that they're bad games, but if they're presented without Mario, people might be like, "Oh, this is actually really cool. Here's a new IP for us." But putting these names on there, you've dragged Mario through the mud for so long. If you put like a new type of game that has Mario's face on, people are like, "Oh no, it's just another crap Mario game on the side."
I feel like they've done that less so with Mario in recent years, more so with Kirby. Kirby is spin-off king.
Yeah, Kirby's definitely been that.
And another title I just thought of, Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer.
Oh my gosh, why couldn't that have just been a standalone expansion? Why didn't it interact with New Leaf? I could literally go on for like ever about this. Like, it ticks me off. They really shot themselves in the foot with that.
It should have been DLC to the main game.
It had so much potential, and they literally wasted it. They could have had it standalone expansion. You could play without the game, but if it interacted with New Leaf, I would have considered buying it. But they lost $40 from me because they didn't interact with New Leaf. I just wanted more New Leaf, and then they're like, "Hey, look, you can just have a home designer, and that's all the game does." And they spent okay, $40 on something that was already super limited.
So with all of this talk of like spin-offs and too much use of the same IPs, I want to bring up Breath of the Wild real quick. Breath of the Wild is, I think, the catalyst for a movement in Nintendo for games that have been stagnant or stale or based themselves on the same formula for years to really change and become something new and innovate. We've been playing Ocarina of Time since 1998. And only Ocarina of Time. Wind Waker is Ocarina of Time. Twilight Princess is Ocarina of Time. Skyward Sword is even Ocarina of Time. Well, and then there's Majora's Mask, but I'll let that one slide.
Right.
I like Majora's Mask.
Well, yeah, they're great games, but they're based on a tired formula.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Zelda is actually one of the names I feel like wasn't dragged through the mud as much because all they really did with it was, I mean, they did have Hyrule Warriors, but they basically just put it.
And that was a huge surprise.
It was a big hit.
Yeah, and it was a pretty big hit because that's one that they haven't dragged through the mud as much. And I feel like Breath of the Wild looks awesome. I love that they're pushing the envelope. They're going something new, and I think that's something they need. And maybe NX is that. Maybe NX is we're changing who we are. Not totally, but in a way. And I think that's awesome.
I would like to see them do that with the next Mario. Super Mario 3D Land, for me, is what, well, not quite to the same extent, but is similar to what Breath of the Wild is for me for Zelda. It was a big change, something brand new that I'd never played before. And then you know what they did? Instead of giving us a brand new idea for Wii U, they made a sequel to 3D Land for Wii U. I mean, what a backward step.
It was really lazy, and like even going with that tired formula idea, that formula got tired a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like, at least like the Zelda games looked different. Mario games all look the same. So we literally just got the same game with different levels and like a few extra things that honestly didn't add a lot to the game. Like, it was a good game, but it was like, we've seen it before.
And it didn't quite belong on Wii U to me either.
Yeah, I mean, with some of the like the way that game is designed, you need to have that depth perception to properly play. Like having the 3D with 3D Land, the 3D actually mattered. It made me feel like I should have my 3D on and playing with my 3D on because it helped me platform better.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%.
With NX, the next Mario needs to be something new, and we need something new from other titles too. And
Right.
that's always true.
The physics in Galaxy were so much fun.
Yeah.
Like having those little planets
Galaxy-
and just being able to jump. It's like, oh no, you get like, in some of those parts you would have to like do the double jump or something like that and loop around it, and then it sends you flying off to the next.
And that's the thing. Like,
Yeah, Galaxy is one of my favorite games because of Mario games because it did something cool, something new.
Super Mario 64 was new, and it was great. Super Mario Sunshine, the sequel to Super Mario 64, did something new, and it was great.
awesome.
Super Mario Galaxy did it again. And then Super Mario Galaxy 2, a direct sequel, still did it again.
And that's the thing. It's like if they stay with these old IPs and they do something new like that, like Mario, those are still platformers. They're still Mario,
Right.
But there's something cool and new with it.
Right.
It's not like I'm making this game and throwing Mario on top of it. This is a Mario game that I'm putting something new, and that's why Breath of the Wild is going to be awesome. It's still a Zelda game at heart, but
Yeah,
it is
I mean-
new. It is exciting.
Has Nintendo really ever done open world before?
This is, I think, the very
think
first
it's their
time.
first one.
Some people are like, oh yeah, they're going back to the original Legend of Zelda, which invented open world, and I'm like, I don't know how true that is. I mean, I think there's probably some inkling of truth in there, but like,
To a point. I mean,
In the format the game was in, yes, you can say that.
back in that
Right.
time, that was open world.
Right.
To
Yeah.
us, that's like, yeah, it's a small little world.
but like in
To
terms
them,
of like, hey, go anywhere, do anything in any order. I mean,
that's true. It was not any order. You had to do it the
There
right
were-
way.
You could still go out of order in the first Zelda game. There was freedom.
Well, after the first three, you had to go the first three the same order, and then you had freedom. I think a little bit, but not a ton.
yeah. But it's like, say like you're playing like Fallout, and obviously there are story missions that you have to do in order, but there's like tons of other quests. You don't have to do the story at all. You could save the story until the very end, but you can do everything else in the world, and that's
They're-
what they're doing
they're-
with Zelda.
They're even kind of breaking that format. So you've got story missions in Fallout 4, but you
Right.
have to do them if you want to beat the story.
Right.
In Zelda, you can go fight Ganon at the very beginning of the game and not do any of the story. That's how
That's kinda
open it
funny.
is.
Just
Who knows how many
note,
people will actually have the skill set to beat him right at the beginning of the game?
Right, but you can go and try it.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the thing.
Side note on those games where you could go do. You played Oblivion, right? Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
I've not played Oblivion. I played some. Skyrim,
I've
though.
played both.
Oblivion was fun, and I loved it. I would go and I did like the Thieves Guild and all that, and I leveled up really high. The problem with Oblivion was the higher you got, the higher your enemies got. I did the side missions that didn't upgrade any of my strength. I did like Thieves Guild and like Mage, like the ones that like just a bunch of like I became the head of like those, like the Dark Brotherhood, and I went and tried doing the main mission, and like level 1, impossible. I was getting smashed because I'm like high level versus high level enemies, and I have no strength.
Oh, so the scaling was bad.
They did it wrong. Like as you level up, your enemies level up with
Yeah.
you. It's not like strength. So I leveled up as a thief and as a sneak Dark Brotherhood kill, and I'm versing like a monster that can shoot me in the face and kill me in one shot.
I've never appreciated games like that. I feel like it's a cheap way of scaling difficulty. You know, just like, oh, you're a higher level, everything is higher level. Like, I like the idea of like, okay, just having like different types of enemies in different places. And obviously, if you don't have the skill set or the strength, you just don't even go there.
Yeah.
You know? But like, it has to, like, I don't like that idea. Anyway, how off topic have we gotten?
That was just one sidebar.
We're
but we
still
can go
on. We're
back.
still on like Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Innovation.
I-
And so you were saying this implications for Nintendo as a whole, right?
Yes, that's what I think, because they're doing this with their baby, with Zelda. If they're gonna do that with like another game, like say they did that with Pikmin, it's not
Right.
gonna mean as much. This is the Legend of Zelda. This is the 30th and isn't this the 30th anniversary, or is it next year?
It's pretty soon. At least it's close enough.
I think it's the same as Mario, isn't it? Or maybe it's not. I know it's close.
It's
We're-
definitely close. It's definitely one of those.
I'll look it up.
So for 30 years, we've been playing Zelda for basically the same way, and you know people love it. They've never really complained,
Yeah.
but they're changing it anyway, and I think that's very telling of what Nintendo is going to be doing here in the future.
And I hope that's true.
Zelda already had its 30th.
It passed? Oh, so it was last year, wasn't it?
No, it was this year.
Oh,
It was February 21st was when
So
the
it's still
original
it's like the
Zelda was released.
30th.
So this is the 30th
anniversary game.
anniversary.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
With that, awesome. If they do something crazy like that with Mario and stuff, I hope that's kind of under works now and under wraps because I don't want to wait 2-3 years for an awesome Mario game.
Oh, they've already said they're making Mario.
So I'm
That's
hoping
happening.
it's something huge like this, but under wraps, and they're just showing Zelda, and then like they're like, "Oh, look how awesome this is," and then look how awesome this is.
I know I've been saying that, Nintendo's going to be doing new things. That being said, for the Mario game, I would like to go back to the Super Mario 64 format and then do something new with that.
Right.
And that's-
I agree.
We both agree that like we're not looking for like a brand new game. We want a platformer with some cool,
A new idea.
something cool with it.
Now, I don't want to suggest that Nintendo should just make all their games open world, But at the same time, there's a part of me that just wants to see like so many different things in a much more open format. Like, I mean, we have games like, for example, we have, space IPs, right? We have like Metroid Prime, or we have Metroid specifically.
And Star Fox.
Right. And then, but then on non-Nintendo hand, you have all these space games that have so much exploration. Say, like No Man's Sky. Now, we can argue about how interesting the gameplay is or not, but the fact is you have a lot of planets to explore. You have a lot of... And that just in and of itself is an exciting concept. You could easily inject a ton of excitement if you just give Samus a galaxy and different planets to go to.
That was very well put, Logan. And I agree. I think there are opportunities for that kind of gameplay for a few of these franchises. I think Star Fox would even be cool. And that series really needs to pick me up.
Right.
They were even going to do a crossover with Metroid at some point. I don't remember the details of that, but that was a scrapped concept. Another game series that I've been waiting to come back is F-Zero, and I think an open-world F-Zero game where you play as Captain Falcon as a bounty hunter who also happens to race would be a fantastic game.
We've talked about
That would
this,
be
and
awesome.
I'm in love with that
That's
idea.
a great
Yeah.
idea. Maybe we should just send this to Nintendo and
Everyone says that.
Hey, Nintendo, this is our application for hire.
I can't make a video game, but I can give you ideas.
I think even an open world Mario game just sounds really cool. An open world Mario game where you parkour.
Give me,
Yeah, I mean-
me the Mushroom Kingdom. What does the Mushroom Kingdom look like?
We don't know.
Where is Mario's house in relation to Peach's castle?
That's something that Paper Mario was like. That's something that made Paper Mario really exciting to me. It's because I got to explore the Mushroom Kingdom freely for the very first time. If we could do that in a more traditional Mario game, I think there's just lots of potential to show us things that we didn't even know about the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, and give Mario a gun.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
That'll sell like 10 billion copies right there if you give him a gun. And also make it a first-person shooter. Also, get rid of all the cute things. Also, just get rid of Mario. Just make Call of Duty 3.0, which is not actually any of these other games. And don't call it Call of Duty because obviously you can't do the IP thing. That's illegal. Screw Mario. Let's just give everybody guns and make the whole world one big first-person shooter.
Thank you, Logan. Anyway.
Never would have thought of that.
Anyway. So we've talked about NX rumors, what we assume and are kind of speculating the NX to be, this hybrid console handheld system, which must be pretty strong if it's going to be playing Breath of the Wild on the go. Just going to throw that out there.
That's true.
Anyway, we talked about that. We've talked about some of the features and some of the specs. We talked about rumored games, confirmed games, and we've talked about how we assume the NX will be revealed and when. What I would like to go to now is I want to get thoughts from you guys on what you want the NX to be, just kind of as a closing. So I'll start, Jacob, with you.
Start with me, huh?
What do you want out of the NX? Do you have any predictions? Throw something out.
What I want from the NX is probably what we talked about at the beginning. I would love a social game that I can play at home, go on the move. I think that's the best idea for Nintendo. I think that's the best push. Like I said earlier, I'm kind of worried, but I'm also excited. I don't know how to say that. I'm
You're
worried,
cautious.
very cautious because of all the hush hush. But that being said, I would love a new IP. I would love I don't know how to say it. I'm just excited, and I hope it's good. But there are worries there. Final thoughts.
Okay. And Logan, for you?
I want the NX to be a literal box that I sit in. They install ports in the back of my head. It interfaces with my brain. It takes out every sensation of reality and actually puts me into a virtual reality and lets me live there. That being a joke, obviously, but it has some validity to it in the sense of I want it to encompass more. I don't want it just to be a thing that I come to when I'm ready to play a video game. Because obviously I have a lot of things, a lot of different devices for a lot of different reasons. And if they can give me a better reason not to pick up my phone or pick up my computer, they have grabbed my attention. If they give me a reason to come back because I don't have to go anywhere else for this or for that, like give me my social life on the NX and I will be a slave to Nintendo. So the idea that they would have, some mobile games on there and like their own selection, like they would put Pokemon Go on there. That's a really cool thing. Bring your little, smaller size tablet, because if it's the same size as, say, the Wii U gamepad screen, then that's not horribly large, and I could walk around my neighborhood with that, or put it in my car and take it out and play a few games or whatever. But obviously it'd be so much more than that. I want them to dig deep inside. Also, give me some freaking good games at launch. Give me a reason to buy the console at launch. Like, give me Breath of the Wild. Give me a stellar Mario game that helps me explore. And then ultimately Nintendo, what I want from them is just to give me more games that play with my imagination, not make me like think what my imagination needs. So like, say like Kirby, this new Kirby game, the Rainbow Curse, and the Ramble Gramble. But if you gave me a little extra inspiration, some extra creativity, not just, hey guys, this game looks pretty, like, give me something compelling. Like, give me something fun. Give me something not so constricted. I feel so constricted with some of these games, and I don't like that feeling. I just watch Breath of the Wild, and I just...
You breathe into
I
the
can
wild.
breathe. And that's what I don't want to feel stressed out when I'm playing games. And when you put unnecessary difficulties in the way of that, like, it becomes less fun. And so if they can do that with the console itself, that's a freaking great thing, because all of a sudden they've broken down barriers. They've added more value and functionality into these things. Also, don't make it hard to use. Include things that should just be included. Don't take the Nintendo route and be like, oh no, we like to do things differently, so we're not going to include basic features that should be on just any device. Like, where the frick is the party chat? Like, if I just want to, like, I don't want to have to go to Skype or to my computer to have to communicate with my friends. If I can just do that on my device, it makes it so much easier and so much more appealing. It makes it more accessible, more pain-free, less painful. Just add those features in. I don't hardly ever do video chat. Why are you giving us an application that it's like, on the Wii U, there's like, oh, look, you can do FaceTime. Awesome. I hardly do that as it is, because I usually just meet up with people anyway on an occasion, but that's what I have my computer for. Everybody does that on their computer. Nobody does that on any other devices. They get their computer or they get their mobile devices. That's not something I really care about for that, because that's like a once in a while kind of thing. But something I do every day, or if I'm playing games, I want to talk to people. I don't want to be face to face with people. I just want to talk to them. So when we're playing Rust, we use Discord, and Discord is really, really pain free. Like, it just works. Give me something. Give me just a basic party chat. Nintendo, what the heck? Anyway, make everything easier. Have it encompass more things. And just let me breathe. Just let me breathe. Don't make me have to go through a million hoops to enjoy something. Because that ruins it. And rant.
Okay. You had a lot to say there.
A lot more than me.
Okay, so for me, I kind of, I agree with both of you, obviously. I want the NX to be, just in general, just a good system, something I will enjoy, something that other people will enjoy. Make those interactions, like you said, Logan, easier to do, less cumbersome, good operating system. I have very simple requests for the NX. And then just give me the games. I think for the Wii U, that's probably been my biggest complaint. The OS might be cumbersome. The gamepad might be a little wonky. I can't party chat with my friends, but overall, I just want good games to play. And that's it for me, basically.
Yeah, make it easy to develop for.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the most important things. Fine, I don't know development, but like if they can make it easy to develop for, that's one less hurdle that developers have to consider.
I also want them to really kind of lock in that Nintendo ecosystem, the My Nintendo accounts. I want that account to be tied to your games, tied to your friends, tied to your Miiverse, tied to your Miitomo. Let's finally do that. We've been working towards it in baby steps. Let's finally unify the accounts, unify the ecosystem, connect all of your Nintendo devices together. And I think we'll finally be making some progress.
The cloud exists for a reason.
It's there. It's already there. I can go to my Nintendo, trade in my points to get a digital game, and you know what happens after I do that? Would you like to download this on your Wii U right now? And I hit that button, and guess what happens?
It downloads on your Wii U.
My Wii U downloads the game. Give me more of that.
And see, it's like so many things do that, but it's just so expected nowadays. Like, why would you not do it?
I was legitimately surprised when it came up because it's just not Nintendo.
It's very not Nintendo.
It's not something they do.
So I want more of that. I want good games, and I want a good system. And I think that will make me a happy customer.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Any final statements?
I mean, no, I think I'm
We
good.
nailed this NX podcast.
Unless we want to go on for another hour.
All right. I think we've just about wrapped things up here.
Yeah, no kidding.
So go ahead, follow us on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook at The Break Room Arcade, Twitter at Break Room Arcade, Instagram, Tumblr. I think we even have a Tinder. Do we have a Tinder yet?
I don't know.
think Paul's
I
gonna
wouldn't. No, I think Paul would be on that.
We'll put Logan as like the main thing.
I think Paul's gonna make us a Tinder. So if you wanna swipe right, we won't talk to you probably. So yeah, check us out at the next podcast. We'll be by the water cooler sometime here in the future. But for now, break time's over, people.
Oh, we have to go back to work?
I gotta work tomorrow.
I do too.
So does he.
No, I got tomorrow off.
You do?
Yeah, I'm good.
You suck.
His
Yeah.
break time's not over.
Our
Come
break
back
time-
tomorrow for more Jacob. All right, guys.
All right. I've been Jake Robertson.
Logan Welliver.
Brandon Miracle, Break Room Arcade, clocking out.